So if you was an evil villain in a Bond movie and Biden was president and they wanted you to stop making nuclear bombs, would you? Before we get into this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break. Now, if you watch Kevin's Corner regularly, you'll know that Noble Gold is one of our sponsors. And they now have thousands of clients who found the secret of gold and silver for their retirement plans right here. And now for the month of March, with any qualified IRA above 20K, you'll get a 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin or a 5-ounce American the Beautiful silver coin for anything over 50K. You know what to do. Call 877-646-5347 now to find out more, or you can visit noblegoldinvestments.com. That is noblegoldinvestments.com. Now, let's get to this video. What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense of the nonsense. That's right, y'all. The Biden administration is negotiating with Iran, trying to make them stop making nuclear weapons or something like that, even though Trump had them on the ropes the last time. But apparently it's not going according to plan. So their alternative method of negotiating is to have China and Russia, the same Russia that they're trying to sanction, the same Russia that they blame for Trump becoming president, that Russia, the same one that they're always blaming Putin for everything that happens in the United States instead of blaming themselves for Putin and farting around. That Russia and China, the same China that dropped that mess on us, that one, the one that manipulates our currency, steals our intellectual properties, all of that. So let's get into how dumb you got to be as an American president to do this. Okay, how dumb can you be? Can you be real dumb? Okay, I ran back from all the... Okay, so U.S. seeks Russia and China to help... What? U.S. is seeking Russia and China to...
The Biden administration has already made so many unilateral concessions to Iran that Iran is benefiting. The best thing that ever happened to the Ayatollah was Joe Biden's becoming president. By the way, the best thing that ever happened to Vladimir Putin was Joe Biden becoming president. And tragically, the best thing that ever happened to communist China was Joe Biden becoming president. All of our enemies are growing stronger,
while we are growing weaker. Now, isn't that ironic? They get stronger as we get weaker. We bring in a feeble, almost senile president and a even worse vice president. You know how bad you got to be for somebody to say, dude, the United States president has never gotten any foreign policies correct. That man ain't never done nothing right. Okay. That man right there is corrupt. He's made millions of dollars from all of these, empires over there that's tyrannical. That man right there became president and he stayed in the basement chilling the whole campaign, comes out, makes gaffes all the time. And it is absolutely obvious that this man is losing his mind. But the vice president is worse than he is. You know how sorry you got to be? That's like you being a backup quarterback and they're talking about, all right, our main quarterback has rickets. He broke both ankles. He's blind in one eye. He's 98 years old and he actually runs with a cane. So he's under the center with a cane in one hand and he gets the ball in the other with blue 36. And yet they saying he's the best option we have. All right, dang it. I just don't want to put her in. That's how bad she is. So if I'm getting this right, because I guess they were trying to scrap whatever Trump had going, which was working, which had Iran in check, had them on the ropes. Well, like all policies that Biden has just rolled back, I guess maybe just to, push the whole globalist movement forward and to also show that we're not going to do anything that mean old racist white nationalist Donald Trump did, even if it was working. So even though that was working, Trump comes in, he unravels the horrific deal that they had prior that didn't do anything. And then Biden gets in, relieves sanctions, and money starts flowing again for him. And now they're back to trying to negotiate a deal with Iran. How do you think that's going to go? Let's see.
We don't know what is in the deal.
Oh, okay.
We know that this administration is desperate to cut a deal.
Oh, yes.
We know that they're so desperate they asked Russia to negotiate the deal for them. Pause and think for a second.
Just pause.
Just how much you want a deal. If you go to Russia and say, will you be our trusted intermediary?
Exactly.
I don't know how many billions of dollars this deal gives them. The last deal, they put $1.7 billion in cash and unmarked bills in pallets on airplanes and flew them in the dead of night to give to the Ayatollah.
See, guys, it's stuff like that. I'm truly convinced that the Democrats, along with Biden, along with Barack, all of them must want to see Israel and the United States completely destroyed. When you're making stupid deals like that, you're telling me you give them billions of dollars and then give them a little cherry on top in the middle of the night by sending more money to them so they can fund their terrorism. So instead of being on the ropes, instead of having the plugs pulled while they're on life support, you come in and get the paddles out. Voot, clear, brings them back. So now those idiots give them all that money, and then Biden gets elected. Well, Biden gets put in. Now they're emboldened. You get in, you reverse everything Trump did that was working, and now they're walking around thumping their chests. Now, why would they do that? I mean, out of all times to say, you know what, we're not going to listen to you, United States or none of them, this is the right time. I say the right time is this is the right time for Iran, China, Russia, any evil actor. If you get one whiff of Biden coming to that mic talking about, you know what, I will devise a plan to try international depression, isolate and punish China. If you up there watching the boob tube and you see that man get out there and say, Barack and I feel it's a right to have Vatican care. You see that? You see him getting up there mixing up Iran and Ukraine? You don't think that weighs in on you? So Iran is probably less likely to even entertain a deal right now, especially after seeing what the Biden administration would do if people don't, I guess, listen. You got to figure they watched this man bounce out of Afghanistan, didn't come back, didn't go back to get the Americans, left them. They watched that. Then they watch him turn right around and let Russia just do whatever they want after throwing out idle threats. So then what makes us think that the Biden administration is going to do anything to Iran if they say, no, we're not going to abandon the project. We're going to continue. So let's see, because Ted Cruz here makes some good points.
My assumption is this deal is much, much worse. More money. Iran is also demanding lifting all sanctions on weapons, on ICBMs.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
The tools that it can use to wage terror on its neighbors and to wage terror on America. Apparently, the Biden administration wants to be the number one funder
of course they do.
Of Iranian terrorism. It makes no sense whatsoever. As bad as Iran is now, a nuclear Iran, they're one of two scenarios of a nuclear Iran. One. There is a chance, nobody knows how high the chance, but a real chance that a nuclear Iran would use a nuclear weapon. It's one of the few regimes on earth that might use a nuclear weapon. You think about most regimes. Kim Jong-un in North Korea is megalomaniacal and dangerous.
Little Rocket Man.
But the one thing we know about him is he wants to stay in power, which means maybe some rational deterrence is possible. With a theocratic zealot like the Ayatollah, who glorifies death and suicide, look, the Ayatollah knows if he used a nuclear weapon against Israel or America, the result would be catastrophic. It could well cost millions of lives.
Everybody's gone.
That he targets and millions of lives in Iranians in what followed. The problem with a theocratic religious zealot, he may be willing to make that exchange.
So I'm hearing what Ted is saying, which is true. There's only one thing that overrides self-preservation to a lot of humans, besides you just being like depressed or suffering from some mental depression to where you feel like you need to take your own life. Like the mental pain is so unbearable that you have to say, well, you know what? I'm going to take the alternative to the pain I'm suffering in my mind. The only other thing that overrides your basic nature to survive is religion. Think about how Christians are. We are willing to be martyrs for Christ. Now, we're not suicidal. We ain't going out there strapping bombs to ourselves and blowing up folks. We're not encouraging folks to say, hey, man, why don't you rush in there and blow up everybody and you'll die as a martyr for the cause. We're not that. But if the push come to shove us and folks say it's either Christ or death, then you say, give me death. But these dudes, when it comes down to dying as a martyr, they look at that and build it into their religion and say, look, how can you lose? If you die blowing up a whole bunch of folks, then you're going to get your virgins in heaven and you're going to be remembered and you're going to be this and that. So now, if you really believe that stuff will trump your basic nature to survive. Religion is a powerful motivator. And so humans have that built-in instinct if you're not religiously motivated. So even a dictator like Kim Jong-un, at the end of the day, that dude wants to live. He done put up a nice little nest egg and got a good thing going. He don't want to get removed. So his motivation for having nuclear weapons is self-preservation. These folks would use it for religious purposes. They will have that bonsai mentality, the old Japanese kamikazes, where they like, we ain't coming back. We have dishonored. That's how they look at it. They used to take that knife. We have dishonored the family. Right? These dudes took that serious enough to say, if we die, everybody's dying. And I got a good feeling a religiously motivated regime would take that approach if they felt that they were going to be glorified in the afterlife. That's why we don't want somebody like this dude in that country getting hold to nuclear weapons. We rely heavily on mutual destruction, meaning this. Hey, easy, man, easy now. Look, nobody got to die. You blow me up, I end up blowing you up, and everybody dies. That ain't good for nobody. So how about we put it down and talk? But when you get these folks that get one, I ain't talking about the Iranian citizens. I'm talking about those zealots who run that country. No telling what they would do. But yet we, at this point, got the weakest president of our whole history trying to negotiate this. Now, at that point, do you think these dudes are willing to say, well, yeah, let's talk? Not to mention, you bring Russia and China in to help. What do you think they're doing? You think they're on our side? The same Russia and China that just formed an alliance and an agreement with each other to help each other economically, just in case the United States feel froggy and want to jump to stop them from invading other countries. That Russia and that China, the one who's always been in the shadows of the U.S. and now they feel like they can get a shot at the title. You think they're going to encourage Iran to get rid of their nuclear weapons? No, Iran's on their side too. So what happened is they go, listen, Iran, trust Xi. Xi has gotten away with everything when it comes to creepy, sleepy, sleazy, slimy, sloppy. I own him. We gave him and his crackhead son $1.5 billion. Therefore, don't worry. You make nuclear weapons. We will concede with any deal you want. We want you to be a part of the evil axis. That's what happened. You think Putin's going to go in and be thinking about, yeah, man, y'all need to get rid of it? No, it's going to be like, yes, you were reigned with Mother Russia. You've also been oppressed. Come, build nuclear weapons with Mother Russia. Together we conquer world. That's what would happen. And yet this dummy and his administration are weak and they're letting it happen. You know World War III is coming, man. You know the end times is close, y'all. Hallelujah. Here we go, y'all.
We shouldn't want to roll the dice to find out if he means it when he says death to America. And by the way, every year Iran celebrates Death to America Day. It is a holiday in Iran. It is the anniversary of Iran taking Americans hostage. And they celebrate dancing in the streets. That's the worst case scenario. Here's the best case scenario. Iran has nuclear weapons, doesn't use it, starts a nuclear arms race throughout the Middle East. Yeah. The Saudis get nuclear weapons. The Minorities get nuclear weapons. All their neighbors get nuclear weapons.
Everybody.
And the Iranians use nuclear weapons to be even more aggressive, funding terrorists like the Houthis and Hezbollah.
That's bad. So let me understand. You got one scenario where they're in the streets, dancing, celebrating, jazz hands. Then the other scenarios, we got nuclear bombs now. So therefore, don't be telling us what to do. We'll use these nuclear bombs so that now we can do some other stuff without having to worry about you guys sanctioning us, punishing us, attacking us. Not to mention, if we form these alliances with these other evil folks, we can cut out the American dollar and just say, man, let's work around these folks. Like when I used to play volleyball and we had one sorry person on the team. We would pass the ball around to one sorry person. Wide open over there. Talking about I'm open. I see you open. But I'd rather do a back set to the person who I think can hit the ball than to set it to you who can't swing. So we'll just work around y'all and exchange money amongst ourselves. Crash your dollar, crash your economy, because we got a stupid, weak, feeble president somehow in office. And this is the worst case scenario. Our enemies coming together. Iran is now negotiating with China and Russia. Do you think Israel is going to sit back and let this happen? I wouldn't. So the biggest threat is them getting these nuclear weapons and using this as leverage to say no longer can y'all tell us what we gonna do and ain't gonna do. And the worst case scenario is, okay, how about this then? For Allah, we blow up everybody. All of you that voted for this regime right here, I'm not even gonna say it.
because they feel that the nuclear weapons give them an insurance policy that no one can mess with them. That's the best case scenario.
Wow.
Any of those scenarios is a disaster.
So they all suck. Bottom line, every one of those scenarios suck. But right now we are in one of the biggest sucky scenarios ever. The fact that we got a impotent president and an even more impotent vice president. A regime that has really identified some of its own citizens as the very terrorists that they're about to fund and embolden and empower. This right here is a mess. Where's Trump? Do you miss him yet? I know I do. Now, God bless y'all. God bless America. See you next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care. God bless y'all. God bless America. Don't forget to hit that like button. Share my videos. Find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those good things. And please check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like their products, please click on the link below this video. Put Kevin in a promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. If you'd like to donate to Kevin's Corner, feel free. The links are below this video. If you want to be a part of my $2 a month club, also feel free to do that. All it entails is you simply dropping $2 a month into one of those links below the video. Or if you want, you can drop a nice big fat lump sum in there to offset the stuff that we know goes on with big tech. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. Make sure that you are still subscribed. And finally, set your notification button to all, because YouTube is playing games, y'all. Now, God bless you. God bless America. See y'all next time in Kevin's Corner.